Welcome back to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. I'm Steven, and tonight, whenever the heck you're watching this, we are getting into another head-to-head. Today, we are doing a toasted off. Again, another toasted off. This time, this is kind of the crowning achievement for available toasted whiskeys. Tonight, we're putting Old Forester 1910, my personal favorite toasted whiskey, up against Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel to figure out, can Toasted Barrel dethrone 1910? I'm excited to figure this out because for the longest time I didn't have any Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, and Old Forester 1910 has been super available, so it's been my go-to. But now that Elijah Craig Toasted is getting more available, is it better? But before we do that, please do me that favor. Like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us out a ton, and we seriously appreciate the support. But let's get in today's video. So, really quick breakdown. I'm not going to get too much into any one of these specific bottles before we do this. But Old Forester. Brown Foreman, so $60, 93 proof from Old Forester Brown Foreman. And then we have Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, toasted. About $60, $65-ish dollars, depending on where you look. A little bit harder to find, but now, like I said, it's starting to get a little bit easier. And this is from Elijah Craig, Heaven Hill, and it's 94 proof. So this is 1 proof point more, which isn't a lot of alcohol, and potentially $5 more. So I'm going to call it a wash and say their stats are basically the same. So which one's better? So I'm going to put Old Forester in A, glass A, because Old Forester is the one I think that's going to win because I'm biased. Old Forester is my crowning, it's my favorite one. Again, we're about to find out if it's actually my favorite one, but Old Forester has been my go-to, my favorite for the longest time, and I'm such a Brown Foreman fanboy. That being said, I'm also kind of an Elijah Craig fanboy, but that's why I put Old Forester in A, and I'm going to put Elijah Craig Toasted in B. All right. You gotta twirl them up. You gotta mix them up. You can't remember which one's which. Gotta go left and right now. You gotta go left and right, and then maybe right to left, left to right, right to left. Left to right. You gotta forget which one is which. You gotta put that one over here. You gotta put this one right over here. And then you gotta put this one right over here. And this one right over here. And you gotta mix them up over here. Because again, you can't remember which one is which. Alright, I'm gonna call those mixed up. So let's get right into it. Old Forester 1910 versus Elijah Craig Toasted. Let's freaking go. I'm super excited about this. Got glass 1, and again, I'm going to go left to right like I always do with these. Glass 1's on the left, glass 2's on the right, and we're going to smell them, taste them, and see which one I prefer. Oh, man. This is good. Toasted. I love toasted whiskey. Like, it may not be my always go-to because it's super sweet, but man, that butterscotch, butterscotch toasted graham crackers, nice cherry note in there as well. That Werther's Original, man. If you really like a lot of like sugary, sweet, intense, like dark, rich flavors, toasted whiskeys are just like, they have to be your go-to because, man, whatever's glass 1 smells so ridiculously good. Let's do glass 2. Ooh, this one has a little bit more of a almost pineapple. Kind of like a tropical influence. Still the same, like toasted oak, butterscotch, but I'm getting a little bit of a pineapple-y note. Glass 2 has this brightness to it, this like bright fruitiness. I'm gonna call it like almost a pineapple, which is weird because neither of these bottles I would have given a toasted or like a tasting note of pineapple before this, but pineapple, like comparing it, I like glass number 1 better on the nose. Glass number 1 is more kind of sugary, sweet, intense, thick, viscous. That's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm looking for toasted. Like when I smelled glass 1, I was like, hey, this is a toasted bourbon. Whatever's in this is great. Glass B has, it's a little bit lighter. It's less intense, like I said, and it has a little bit of almost a tropical fruit note, but I don't know if that's coming up just because I'm comparing these and I'm looking for what's different between them. But I still like glass 2, but glass 1 definitely, it's carrying a little bit more for me. Let's get into the palate. Glass 1. Oh, God. That is it. It's weird, but it's like a banana sundae mixed with s'mores, if that makes sense. Like there's this marshmallowy, thick, viscous thing. There's some graham crackers, some chocolate, but then there's also this little bit of vanilla ice cream, this butterscotch. You know, like those jars of butterscotch that you heat up in the microwave when you used to make sundaes as a kid? That, some chocolate syrup, and some bananas. I think this might be the Old Forester. I'm not trying to guess, but like, oh man, the banana note's hard to run from. You can't run from the bananas. That's a rock star of a whiskey. God, that is complex. It's thick. It's viscous. It's definitely really leaning in the, double oaked sweetness, sugary. Like, it's a super sweet bourbon. But man, again, when I'm looking for toasted, when I think toasted, whatever's in glass 1, that's a toasted whiskey. And again, I think it's the Old Forester 1910, but I'm trying not to guess. Let's get into glass 2. Oh man. Yeah, it's definitely less sweet. It's more of this like nutty chocolate. For Christmas, for the longest time, we would always do these like nutty, like caramel, like hard dried caramel, like sheets, and then it would be dipped in chocolate. So it would be like a layer of chocolate, a layer of caramel with nuts in it. That's kind of what it reminds me of. That, graham crackers. It still has those traditional toasted oak notes, but it's more on that like nutty, a little bit oakier, I would say, as well. Glass 1 really takes a hard right turn into like double oaked. It's like, you want a double oaked whiskey? Yeehaw, let's go. Where glass 2 isn't as intense. It's more of it's a low key toasted. It's still definitely toasted. I mean, both these bottles are toasted, so clearly one of them or both of them are toasted. But this glass tastes a little bit more like if I had blended a toasted bottle with a non-toasted bottle, because this doesn't scream as toasted as the other one does, which I don't mind that. This is going to be a weird one because my thoughts and my answer don't entirely line up. So both of these bottles I think are really, really good. I think I already know which ones are which. That being said, I think I prefer glass number 1 better, or while I do prefer glass number 1 better as a toasted product. That being said, the bottle I would see myself drinking more is glass 2, because glass 1 is ridiculously sweet. It's a bit too much. But also, I don't drink a lot of toasted bottles because of that. Like, I don't drink toasted whiskey very often because sometimes it's just too much. So when I'm looking for a toasted bottle, I really want something that's toasted. So that's why I'm going, the winner of this toasted battle is definitely glass A. But I think for me, a whiskey I would enjoy a little bit more often would be glass 2 because it's not as toasted. Let's get into it with the winner. A. Yep. Old Forester 1910. Glass number 1 is going to be A, so that is Old Forester 1910. And I honestly can't say I'm surprised. That banana note is impossible to run away from. You can't get away from it. Once you pick it up, it's never going away. And I've never gotten a banana note on Elijah Craig. If you're looking for a toasted whiskey, this is 100% toasted. If you're looking for a bourbon with a little bit of a toasty emphasis, but still kind of more of a bourbon, or well, I guess they're all bourbons, but like more stereotypical, this Elijah Craig toasted. I really, really like this. I think this is a little bit more traditional, where the 1910 is very, very double oaked, toasted, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, in the end of the day, ain't nothing gonna dethrone my 1910 as far as available toasted whiskeys. Let me know down below if you think there's a better toasted whiskey that is available. Has to be available. If it's not available, then it doesn't matter. Like, if I can't find it, then I can't review it. Also, let me know what you thought about today's video, as well as, do those things like, comment, and subscribe. Helps us out a ton, and I seriously appreciate the support. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon. That is a wrap for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed. Cheers. We'll see you later.